Hello and welcome back to another episode on the channel by me, the Wise James. So, I haven't done a reaction video for a while now, just been trying to quit smoking and not doing great, but I've made progress. Now, Simon Dan is a YouTuber who I normally see debunking flat earthers and basically idiots. There's plenty of them. And this one caught my eye because it has Simon Dan is schizophrenic. Now, it seems someone's trying to insult my disability. And I don't think it's Simon Dan. I think it's the person who's commenting against him. So, as a schizophrenic, I'll watch it and I'll see what this person said. Because I guarantee you the person who said this isn't very intelligent. Because being a schizophrenic isn't really a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you don't have control of it. But anyway, let's get into it.
The Globebusters.
Right there, sort my sound out here. Can't hear a thing. There we go, that's fine.
Are a team on YouTube that like to try and debunk the globe and prove flat Earth. They were once a huge institution in the flat Earth community. However, since Bob Nodell's death and more recently Jeran's defection back to Team Globe, the Globebusters are now all over the place. However, that did not stop one of their team having a pop at me over one of my YouTube shorts. You can't miss this one. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Okay, on with today's video then, which comes from Eru, who is a Globebuster. And he has made an hour-long response to my 30-second...
Is this what the flat earthers call themselves these days? Globebusters. Okay, so I've got YouTube, right? Got YouTube. Let's have a look. YouTube. Okay, let's go for 8K Starlink video. No, 8K ISS video feed. So this is the International Space Station. It's literally live in space right now. There you go. That's literally a live video image of the Earth. You can literally see the curvature of the Earth very easily. Anyway, back to
short. This might take a few episodes to clear this one up. Here we go.
There is this video that a friend of
sugar.
The Globebusters are a team are now one. Flat Earth, which comes
where this guy, which is a very well known in the English community.
No, he's not. No, if I went down the street and asked 10 people, do they know who Simon Dan is? They would all ask me who the fuck I'm talking about. He's not well known in the English community. He's well known in the English YouTube community, sure. But in actual England, no. Nobody's fucking heard of him, mate. What are you on about?
Trying to debunk something that is undebunkable because the Earth is flat.
He's trying to debunk something that is undebunkable. The Earth is flat. Well, here's a high-def video feed of the ISS. Like, I don't know. It looks pretty round to me. Doesn't look like a flat disc. It looks like a spherical sphere. You know, this satellite is literally going around it. Sorry, it's the International Space Station. Like, this isn't the only live feed in space. You know, there are other live feeds. Who we got? Oh, here's the Aurora Borealis when it did that. That was quite cool. Oh, that's in the CGI. That is. Is that the same camera? Yeah, same camera. See that? If you really think the Earth is flat, like, you can literally go on YouTube and watch live videos from space.
And stationary, and that is what everybody feels and see and experience.
Calling flat Earth undebunkable is adorable. It really is.
I think it's hilarious. It's like saying humans could never fly. Sounds like a logical thing in the ancient world and to medieval people. Of course humans can never fly. We don't have wings. We're not a god. How can we fly? But then when you're from the 21st century and we have aeroplanes and rockets and jets, missiles and satellites, hot air balloons, blimps, helicopters, drones. Yeah, we can.
But this guy has like a schizophrenic.
Ah, he's tried to insult schizophrenia. Okay, so schizophrenia doesn't make you dumb or less intelligent or less capable. What it does is it gives you a severe disability that makes it harder to live your life, harder to think because you hear voices on top of everything else, harder to just generally be a human, okay? Like, I'm not going to say I'm smarter than you, but I probably am, and I'm a schizophrenic. I have specifically schizoaffective disorder, but I also have something called hyperthymesia. It's kind of similar to eidetic memory, but mine's relatable to the things people say around me, the things people say to me, and the things people have said about me. I can remember everything verbatim anyone's ever done in my life that they've ever said to me, around me, or about me, that I've heard. Verbatim, every time. It's a defensive mechanism. But anyway, yeah. So I was curious why he was going to insult sci-fi man with schizophrenia. It's a shame there's a lot of weak humans out there, like very, very weak humans, who try and use the suffering of disabled people as a tool to insult others. I mean, I've done it myself. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I've said, "What, are you blind?" in a football match because, they didn't pass a pass they should have seen or something. And so you say something like, "Oh, what, are you blind?" Making light of blind people and their suffering. People also use the same with deafness. And more recently, Americans started using the word retard more. So in England, it means retardation. It's someone with full-blown cerebral palsy. They're in a wheelchair. They can't look after themselves. They can't defend themselves. They need 24-hour care. And then the Americans use them as a tool to insult others and think it's normal. The same as they thought it was normal to call black people the N-word. I guess they've always got to pick on someone in America. But because of the internet and the media, it's actually infected the rest of the world. So, what's this guy? Fucking, I don't know his accent. Let's have a look.
He is.
But this guy has like a schizophrenic.
It sounds a little bit French. He sounds a little bit French. Yeah. So I've got schizophrenia. Okay. I don't see how that affects anything here. How does having schizophrenia affect anything here?
Behavior, so he believes that he's in a ball. And because he's that.
We are on a ball. Literally, this guy who's insulting me and my condition, my disability, he's literally mocking my disability I was born with, okay? I've suffered my entire life with, and he's trying to make light of it, okay? He could buy a telescope. He could spend £1,000 on a really nice telescope and look up at every single thing in the night sky. The moon, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. Look at Uranus. So mature. And they would all be spherical, round planets. They're not flat discs, are they? So why, out of every single thing you could find in the entire universe with a telescope, would they all be spheres and round, essentially? Apart from maybe oblong ones from stretches of gravity from like dwarf stars and black holes and things. Apart from that, how is it that we would be the only object in the entire universe that didn't abide by those same laws of physics? Even though you've got literally video footage that shows we're a spherical planet, you don't believe that, huh? You can get your telescope out and look at every planet in the entire universe and see they're all spheres. Oh no. No.
believe. He
But apparently my schizophrenia is the problem. The disability I've suffered with my entire life, huh?
is a belief. It's not a reality. He didn't
This guy, man.
see it. He didn't go into space. He did.
This is a video footage from space. That is the arm on the International Space Station that does automatic repairs. Okay, let's get a different one from space. Here's the live feed again. There's the live feed, as you can see. Literally, that's space there. What is that about?
Didn't have any kind of experience with the ball. But, well, maybe he has.
Have you been to space? This individual who thinks it's okay to insult and mock disabled people. Have you been to space? Because you can't claim that sci-fi man Dan, whatever he's called, Sci-Man Dan, has no credentials on this subject because he's never been to space, when you've clearly never been to space. There's no flat earther is ever going to be allowed on a spaceship.
Wet dreams with the ball.
Okay, straight to the personal insults then. Always a strong start when you've got no data or evidence. And belief isn't what makes Earth a globe, by the way. Evidence is.
Like this. Literally like that. Just watching video footage of the Earth, you can see.
Can measure curvature and track satellites and navigate the planet using systems that only work on a sphere. None of that
Like GPS.
depends on whether or not I've been to space.
Yeah, GPS is not dependent on a flat surface. GPS is dependent on a spherical planet with a gravity system that uses them in the way we need them used.
But I'm gonna play it, and because the title, as you can see, is 1968 CGI ahead of this time, still wait. So I'm gonna play the clip fully because it's a short clip. Let me know if the sounds
1968 CGI.
heard well. It sounds well, and then I'm going to try to explain this Globestar, how it was made, that supposedly CGI.
Okay, Iru, if you think you can confidently explain that, then I will listen.
This is day 10 of waiting for flat earthers to prove that space is fake. And today I've got a classic for you, Earthrise, taken by Apollo 8 astronauts orbiting the moon. The Earth rising above the lunar horizon, one of the most famous photos in history, I think. But what I want to know is, how is the CGI so good in 1968 to make this look real? As always, still waiting. This is day 10.
I love that face. I love that face.
Thank you, I think.
So let me know you have heard the sound this time. Okay, perfect, great. So
I'm still waiting for him to explain how he's wrong.
the first thing is that he presupposed that this is CGI, and he presupposed that this is real.
How can I presuppose that this is both real?
Yeah, that's what I was confused at. That's why I paused it. I was like, how could he presuppose it was both CGI and presuppose it was both real? What he's probably done is mistaken my opinion on the moon landing, which is that it was both faked and real. But because they succeeded, they didn't need the fake footage. They only had the fake footage in case they failed, and because they didn't fail, they didn't need the fake footage. The moon landing was both faked and real, and because they succeeded, they didn't need the fake footage to recover the bodies. Do you all think the Americans would have just left 3 dead humans on the moon and be like, oh yeah, we failed, we've just left them up there? No, they had a plan to recover them, and that plan was to pretend they succeeded while they recovered the bodies, and then they would have claimed the bodies died on impact. You all think the Americans are stupid, and they're not.
And CGI. I'm not sure you understand what presuppose means, my friend.
So how you know, how Simon Dan knows that this is real, if
We know it's real because of every single detail within it is flawless. Every shadow, every detail. We also know it was the image. It's one of the most famous photographs in history. We could literally make this photo now. You could go to the moon and redo that photo, the exact same. Although the Earth's position on its axis might be slightly different.
He didn't see it in any. We are not talking things that you don't need to see for determine that it's real, because it's something that you can experience or achieve here on Earth. This is a particular point of view. So there is only less than 500 people that supposedly went to space.
Yeah, there's far less than 500 people who went to space, and there's only 12 people have ever been on the moon, and a woman has never been on the moon. Yes, carry on.
But not to the moon.
12 people have been to the moon. 12.
So to the moon as human being, it was only, I think, 18 people.
I think maybe 6 above the surface, but 12 on the surface. How many humans have walked on the moon? 12, yeah? See, look. Boom, 12. I was right. What's he on about 18? No, it's not 18. There was, you see, when they went to the moon, you had to have someone usually stay in orbit or stay with the ship in case anything happens. So not every moon landing, they all don't just get out the ship and start walking around. One person stays behind and doesn't walk on the surface of the moon. They stay there and keep the ship safe. Man, this guy doesn't know shit. Literally, he could have Googled that in 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Something like that, right? So nobody knows how it looks from the moon.
Yes, we do.
The "you weren't there" argument. By that logic, I can't know that the Titanic sunk because I wasn't on it. Evidence doesn't vanish just because someone doesn't personally witness things. So yes, fewer than 20 humans have been to the moon. But thousands of machines have gone beyond Earth orbit since.
Unless you are
Correct.
a Freemason and you went to...
Unless you're a Freemason. What have the Freemasons got to do with any of this? The Freemasons is a society for men to have power and control and influence over the world. An elite exclusive men's club. It has nothing to do with going to the moon.
to the moon in the 69, 70, 71, 72.
You had to be a Freemason to go to the moon in the 60s. It's not because they made people who went to the moon Freemasons. It's that you had to be a Freemason to get to the moon. Oh, right, I understand it. It's not that the Freemasons wanted the most influential people on the planet, so tried to recruit them all, like all the astronauts who went to the moon. Oh, no, that couldn't possibly be it. But what would a schizophrenic like me know, you know? I'm just a schizophrenic. What do I know?
Too, right? All the 7 missions out there. So that is the first things. The first thing that you need to understand. The second thing is that because this is something that was presented to the human race as a picture, as a video, it doesn't mean that the only way to produce this is based on CGI and computer-generated images.
In all fairness, right? In 1969, they'd barely had colour photography and colour videos for like 20, 30 years. I mean, maybe the military did, but the public didn't have it until the 60s. So they've had colour TVs for maybe, 7 years at most at this point. There would be maybe 100 people in the world at that point who could have recreated this image by hand. But it wouldn't be flawless. It would have discrepancies. It would have noticeable mistakes. That, you know how the clouds are on the planet. Like someone who's a meteorologist who specialises in weather would be able to come along and be like, no, that's not correct. That would never work that way. So it's clearly a fake. Like there's not a single flaw in this image. There's not a single error. Not a single discrepancy. I've checked. Trust me.
Image as we will do, or as we supposedly do in our days. You can use other type of techniques to produce this. In fact, it's
got a little bit of a cold, sorry, so I'm just having a cold sweet or whatever they're called.
very, very achievable and easy to reproduce if you are using miniatures and pictures and like a black black background.
It would be easy to artificially make this image fool an average person. But to be able to fool all the greatest experts in science, no. I'm sorry, no.
As I have here where I'm pointing with the finger. So
the Earthrise photo wasn't made with miniatures. It was shot on a Hasselblad 500EL camera using 70mm film. It was loaded by astronaut Bill Anders on Apollo 8. The original film reel is still archived in NASA, scanned in full resolution, and even shows the sequence of shots before it and after it. And the claim that it's easy to reproduce ignores the small detail that it's been replicated from lunar orbit many times since. Japan's Kagoya probe, for example, or India's Chandrayaan, and NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, all captured a similar view from a similar angle.
Why these guys are using this stupid argument? Because they are not belong to the motion graphic or visual effects community, as I do. Because
I did digital media at Newcastle College in 2006, so I was building animations likely before this person ever owned a computer. And let me tell you, Lau, you don't get to just claim you're part of a community and everyone else isn't.
my profession is a visual effect artist, and
So because you're a visual effect artist and you believe you could recreate these videos and photographs yourself with your own abilities and modern technology, you believe that it must have been faked historically and it couldn't have been done because you could recreate it with your skills. Well, guess what, sir? I could recreate these images with my skills and talents. But that's because we have the information from these missions. If we didn't have these missions, you wouldn't have the information to do that. And your fake would be easily, obviously, a fake. But that explains it. It's because he thinks he could fake it. So did the militaries, essentially.
visual effects supervisor. So
I'm very good at understanding the human mind. I'm a crazy guy, as you say. I'm a schizophrenic, bro. That's what we do. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. We work out your brain, man. Woo. Fucking idiot.
I'm gonna try to explain why this wasn't CGI, of course, not just because the time where this was produced, but because you don't need to do that. In fact, the CGI that NASA used today is completely crap. It's something that is.
Oh, so the CGI they used to use was really good, but now it's crap. It seems a bit suspicious. All the fake NASA images from the 60s and 70s were done in a studio with professional actors and a professional director. This talk of CGI is hilarious. Let's have a look at 1970s CGI. Hey, you guys. Yeah, this is some 90s and 80s CGI. Do you see what I mean? Like, is this guy insane? Is this guy literally insane? Like, that's literally 2000s.
Super bad.
So he admits the photo isn't CGI, which of course is true, because the term didn't exist in 1968. Maybe you can tell that to your other flat earth friends then, Iru. But then he says NASA's CGI today is terrible. Right, the same NASA that processes terabytes of data from the James Webb Space Telescope
The same people who produced this image. Wait there. Never mind. Do it another time.
lands probes on asteroids and live streams HD footage from 400 kilometers above Earth. And apparently their graphics just aren't up to his standards. Sure, mate, sure.
I'm talking about this. This is what type of image NASA produce in nowadays based on compositing. Of course, because they have explained a lot of time that this was because you need to take data from supposedly satellites that are within our spherical Earth, and then send the information. I don't say the pictures, but they send data. That data it's converted to image, and then you start stitching those image, producing this final image, which of course sometimes has complete different sizes and proportions. And the excuse is that well, we use different lenses and different perspectives, so that is why all the Earth are changing.
When you're building a full Earth image from multiple satellite flybys, each taken from a different orbit or altitude or lens type, you have to stitch them together. It's called a mosaic. And the
That's correct. They did the same with a black hole.
best part, he claims to work in special effects, which means he should already know how compositing images works. The irony is staggering, really.
But this is a completely crap using CGI or using computer technology. And I remember this, what Simon Dunn trying to, which is waiting. So you don't need to wait anymore, my friend, because now I am explaining to you. So that waiting room that you proposed, it's over. And I hope you address this video and explain me why it's not possible to reproduce that without computer if they have that technology.
Well,
Why would you use a computer in the 1960s to try and produce a real image and fake people with its realness? You wouldn't. You would have used a stage and actors and a director. It's so stupid. Like, the Americans only had fake footage in the event of failure.
thank you for ending my waiting room, but I wasn't waiting for this explanation, I was waiting for actual evidence. I'm still waiting, actually. And yes, it is possible to reproduce an image like Earthrise without computers, with a camera. That's what Apollo 8 did. They pointed a Hasselblad camera out the window and pressed the shutter. No CGI, no compositing, just 70mm film. If your professional opinion as a visual effects artist is that it looks bad, maybe the problem isn't NASA's CGI, maybe it's your eyesight. Eru then goes on to tell us exactly how they made those images of Earth without CGI back then.
Well, the first thing, and this is very, very easy, is that we as flat earther or at least what I propose is that this is a real picture, is complete real picture, but not in outer space from the Apollo 17. And when I going to explain is based on this, okay, it's going to based on this as is the same technique. All right, so it's a real picture to a model that was painting and then put on the black background, like this.
And there we have it. It took almost 15 minutes of Iru's video, but he's finally showed his hand. So, just to recap, he's now saying that Apollo 17's famous blue marble photo is real, but it's actually a photo of a painting. Now, of course, it's not a painting. We have the original 70mm transparency, the metadata, and the mission logs describing when it was taken. December the 7th, 1972 by astronaut Harrison Schmitt. And it was on the way to the moon that they took this photo. The raw film was developed back on Earth and then archived. You can literally see the frame sequence before it and then after it. If it were a painting on a black background, every space institute on the planet, NASA, ESA, JAXA, Roscosmos, somehow forgot to notice for 50 years. Seems unlikely.
You can you can imagine that this is the setup. That is why we ask, like, we don't have any feature that we can use as a guide to say, okay, the only way that this picture was taken is in space, because look the stars, look the planet, I don't know, look.
I wanted to be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier. I almost weigh twice the weight that I normally have, and it's very difficult to do a perfect exit. First 25 seconds, it looked like everything's under control.
Look, the sun in the background or whatever. It's just a black background. It's this black background with the Earth and nothing more than that. And super lit, in terms of the illumination of this spherical ball. It's a perfect illumination without any change in colors, not the sunrise or nothing. Nothing is a completely perfect lit sphere. So,
okay, I think this is going to be pretty easy to debunk. Let's have a look through magazine NN, which is the location of the blue marble photo from that mission. Did they paint and photograph every single one of these images, Iru? What about all the other magazines? What about the 8,400 photos in total from Apollo 17? Did they paint and photograph all of those? How about you answer that one for me and I'll get back in my waiting room. Well, there we go, everyone. What do we think of that one?
Well, thanks for that. I just wanted to see what he said about schizophrenics, to be honest. I don't really care about the flat earthers. They're just a bunch of idiots. But I just wanted to know why this person was trying to use my disability as a tool to attack someone else. And it's because he's an idiot. So thanks very much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.